Hello and welcome to Sestra-Tainment. I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment. Yeah, so this week I'm actually going to go first. Alrighty. And I am going to talk about the Jamie Foxx Netflix special.
Oh, yeah, I heard it was good.
What had happened was.
Yeah.
So, so I'm not going to be able to probably talk about it long because I'm not wanting to give any spoilers. That's the hard part, is because I don't want to be the person that says what happened to Jamie Foxx until people get to see him say what happens to him. So I'll just try to give information at a very high level just so that way, it's covered, but it's not, the specifics. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. So then I would say that it starts off like literally the Netflix doom doom happens, and then the next thing you know, it's sirens. Like literally it starts off that way. So you're like, oh, he's definitely going to talk about, what had happened. So then it goes on to say like that he had suffered a serious, emergency. It was talking about all this and all the news reports, all of the information on TikTok that people were saying with his picture in the background. It goes into people saying, I think he's dead. It goes into he's a clone. Yeah. It goes into, just people who were like, just saying a little bit of any and everything. And so then it goes to him being on stage, and he's in Atlanta. The way I understand it is he did 2 shows in Atlanta, and they chopped up those 2 shows and made it into one special, right? And so it starts, however, with his daughter, his oldest daughter, I forgot her name is Clarissa or something. But anyway, her introducing him. Okay. As Jamie MFN Foxx, kind of thing. So anyway, so she's just out there a quick second introducing her dad, and then he comes out and he can't even get any words out. He's so emotional. Like he cries a lot in here. Some of it I'm trying to figure out, is it real crying or is it acting crying? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, but he's like wiping his eyes, and you can see his eyes were red. They were still wet. When he finally took off his shades, he's like, using his sleeve to kind of, take away
But then that could also be Vicks.
Tears. It could be, but I think, but no, I think it's almost one of those things that if you have gone through a life-threatening emergency and then you're like, I didn't even think I would be ever able to even be here again like this. And then to be on the stage again for the first time after that emergency, I think that it looked like that was real, and that it actually did just overwhelm him, right? So then he starts, with his special, and he's talking about, different things that are going on. He starts off, funny enough, talking about Cat Williams too. Oh, okay. So he does
because of that Shannon Sharp interview.
Yeah, and he does his Cat Williams impersonation, and I guess it might have even been after Shannon Sharp that he ended up saying something like, I don't know how I can't remember what it was, but I guess sometime Kat must have said something about what happened to Jamie Foxx, and that he was like, oh, a medical mystery, like, what's that, kind of thing. And so, but then he was saying also, I guess Kat was saying that at some point maybe Diddy was involved or something to that effect. Yeah. And so he was like, well, he's, so he's up there saying, people saying Diddy tried to take me out or whatever. And he was like, Diddy? Get it? Diddy?
Did he do it?
Yeah, exactly. Did he do it? So anyway, so he's just, talking. He at first I thought he was taking digs at Kat, but then he was like, Kat could be right about some things. You never know, that kind of thing. So I don't think he ended up really doing that, but he gave a lot of shout outs to Atlanta. Let's just put it that way. He just said that it happened. The hospital he stayed in was, he said, like less than 1,000 feet from where he was holding this event. Yeah. So he said it was right over there. I forgot what he said it was. It was some hospital in Atlanta. And then he even talked about the doctor. So he said the doctor was really cool. And I guess I can share this part because it still doesn't say what his emergency was. But he said that when he first went to the doctor with his sister, because he said he had a headache. He did say he had a headache. And he said that he went and asked a friend for some medicine. And he said that's the last thing he remembers. And so then he said that his sister and him had gone to doctor, and the doctor just wanted to give him a cortisone shot. And the sister's like, this is not effective for my brother. Like, look at him. This is not, going to work for my brother. Like, this isn't going to happen. And so they ended up just like being at a loss, trying to figure out what's going on. And he said his sister is a praying person. So she was like, I want to talk to God and blah, 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 and all of that kind of stuff. And so they finally got to this hospital that was, like I said, right next door to where he did the special. And that doctor was like, I think this is what's going on. Mm-hmm. We'll go in to see, what all is happening, and is this true or not, if there needs to be surgery or not, all those different types of things. And so he ended up being admitted there. Okay. And funny thing, he said his sister was like, well, you could check his body. You could check his head even. Ain't nothing in there. So he said that his sister, because he was like, we use comedy as a defense mechanism, So it's like, you can check it, ain't nothing in there. But he said too that, she was like, well, I've talked to God about it and I don't think you're going to find anything. Like, I'm just saying, I don't think this is it. So long story short, he gave so much praise to Atlanta, so much praise to his daughter, so much praise to his sister, because he was like, with everything going on, they held me down. Like, they made sure they shut it all down. Mm-hmm. People could come up with whatever rumors and things that they wanted to say. Didn't matter, because they were protecting me. Because if I'm not in a state that I would want to be seen, then they knew that and wanted to ensure that you all didn't have to see me that way. Do you see what I mean? Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I get it. It created a whole lot more controversy than it probably needed to. That's the main thing. He's a clone. That's the main thing. Well, yeah, everybody's saying he's a clone. And he addresses that too. And he's like, yeah, everybody's saying I'm a clone. I'm not. Even today, I saw that somebody put, where was that tattoo on the back of his head? Because I didn't see that tattoo on there. And I was like, well, if you think about it, he had major surgery. You don't even see the scar from that, or whatever it is that's going on. So I'm like, you were expecting to see so much stuff. And it's like, there's makeup that can cover stuff.
You could get
hair pieces that can happen. Yeah, he could have had the tattoo removed. It could be anything that could happen, so it's not too.
Or it could just be a face plant, like Face Off.
Oh my gosh. See, you're just starting more rumors and innuendos, I tell you. So anyway, but I feel like I can talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to give too much away, but it was pretty good. It's like, for emotional people, I can think it definitely can be an emotional roller coaster of, hearing what he says. Maybe you or somebody that you have, loved in your life or have been around in your life have gone through some of the things that he's gone through, a lot of profanity. I will say that. Okay. He's definitely utilizing that. But at the same time, grateful to God and using profanity, sometimes in the exact same sentence. So, hey, he's just keeping it real and raw. Yeah, and so, anyway, I personally really liked it. I think most people who would see it would say that it is a good special. And he just has some really funny things that he talks about. And even when he's talking about the serious parts, he's talking about it in a funny way. For example, he said, because, you have to do rehab and stuff like that. So he was in rehab. And he didn't want to do nothing. He said, I'm in there like Nino Brown. And he was just like, y'all ain't gonna do that. Who did that? And like he said, he was just going off. Like New Jack City said it's one of his favorite roles. And he said that some of the doctors were like, you just need Holly. That's what we got to do. We got to just bring in Holly. So she was like, I don't give nothing about no Holly. Holly, whatever, It's like, I am Jamie Foxx. I don't get no second. I don't need a second chance. I'm still on my first chance. Blah, blah, blah. Like he said, he's just being a jerk, basically. And he said that he's in the bed this day and this nurse comes in and she was like, get up out that bed. He said he jumped up to attention and she was like, I'm tired of all this. I'm Jamie Foxx. You're going to do what we tell you to do. And who you think you are? You think you're somebody special? Like she just told him front, back, sideways, left, right, everything to the point that he was like, all right, Holly, what we going to do?
So Holly is the big guns. That's the muscle for the rehab facility. Yeah,
the place was like, I guess we're going to have to just bring in Holly. And he was like, who's Holly? Yeah. What's a Holly?
And Holly coming in like Medea.
Yeah. And then he talked about getting sponge bathed and how that experience, was. Because he was like, no, you can't see my pickle. What are you talking about? No. And she was like, I've seen it before. When you
was out.
You haven't been awake all this time. Like, I have seen it. And he was like, what? You done seen my pickle? How'd it do? And it was like just stupid stuff like that. So anyway, but yeah, so I say that it is a emotional yet lighthearted and funny. I don't laugh at stuff, so it wasn't funny for me. Yeah. But I would say definitely something to check out, especially if you've just wondered what the heck was going on. Like, hear it in his words, and he will tell you in a matter of the first. Sometimes you get to a special and they don't tell you what you want to hear about until the end. Yeah. And you're like, really? You made me sit through all of this?
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
No, he tells you in the first 10 minutes.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, what all had happened, and what had happened was maybe the first, probably 10 or 15, definitely not 20. And he was like, so what had happened was, and then the lights change, and then he goes and sits down. Mm-hmm. It's all dramatic, And then as he's telling the story, they must have told the audience, like, when he gets to the certain part, just be quiet. Like, give him a moment to just say stuff. Because, these people in Atlanta, they were like, we love you, Jamie. Mm-hmm. He was like, I love y'all too. And then they were like, yeah, da-da-da-da-da, because Atlanta helped me there. Yeah, we did. Like, you hear all that in the background, and he went along with it, So I could tell that when he was being serious, like when someone would have normally chimed in, it was just like dead silence. Either that or
but they might have had somebody come in and say
that's what I think before they got started.
TV shows,
or somebody like, you look at us in the background. If we do this or hold up a certain sign, then we'll have the camera zoomed in on him, but you'll see us on the sides and you don't say anything. And then whatever, if you do, you'll be kicked out or something probably. Yeah. So so it gave a different dramatic flair to it than a typical comedy, quote unquote, special. So, so anyway, that's it. It's Jamie Foxx. What had happened was on Netflix.
All right.
So what do you have?
I have one of my favorite people. Watching her is fun and exciting because she plays so many roles and she acts so well.
Yeah.
So I have The Sticky, starring Margot Martindale.
The Sticky. Okay.
And you know what? Honestly, I'm pretty sure that Margot Martindale probably says the N-word at home by herself or to her husband.
Do you think so?
She probably does. I don't know for sure, but it wouldn't change the way I thought about her. Because when I see her on stuff, I was like, I could see her sneaking that out.
No, she seems so sweet and nice.
I know, but that's the thing. She might. Is she my Paula Deen? I don't know, because you know how everybody black love Paula Deen, and then she snuck that N-word in there, and everybody was like, "Oh." But she made some good food.
Events.
You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
So I hope that she's not. But if she is, I can't change nothing about it.
And I still love her.
I still like her. I still like her as an actress. Okay? I don't know anything about her personally. I've never had a conversation with her.
It's just so random.
But I'm just saying, that's what I was thinking about when I was watching it. But
go ahead.
So The Sticky is actually a true story based on the great heist of maple syrup in Canada.
What?
Yes. There was a great heist about maple syrup that happened in Canada. Now, this is a TV show.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's good. Now, this is a TV show. It's 6 episodes.
Okay.
Right now, let me see. Am I at the 6th episode? I can't remember. I might be at 4 right now. So, it's really, really good. I really like it. Okay. All right, so the cast is, you have Margot Martindale as the main character, Ruth Landry. Now, Ruth has a maple tree farm.
Okay.
And with her maple tree farm, somehow they have changed some stipulations and they have come to her and said, hey, we have to shut down your farm because you're not meeting the codes and regulations of blah, 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 blah. And she was like, that's because the association just changes it whenever they want to be willy-nilly. And then they come through and want to buy all of our trees and buy all of our land. So there is some other guys. So you have Chris I was messed it up now. Diamantopoulos.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You had it.
I had it earlier. I practiced, guys, and then I forgot it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he plays Mike. You have Giuliani.
You didn't practice that one? You didn't practice that one?
No, but it's a French guy.
Okay.
He's a Canadian. He's French-Canadian.
French-Canadian, okay.
And he goes by the name of Remy Bouchard.
Okay.
You also have Guy Naden, who plays Leonard.
Okay.
And that's what you hear the whole time.
Leonard?
F you, Leonard. F you, Leonard. Nobody gives a F about Leonard. It's so funny. Okay.
Oh, my God.
You have Leonard's son, who is also in there, but he's kind of in there, but not really in there. But yeah. So what it is that Margot. Oh, I'm sorry, Margot. Ruth, who was played by Margot Martindale, Mike, and Remy get together to figure out how Remy wants to make money, and he works for the association.
Okay.
So he's like, they're not paying me enough. I asked them for more security. They don't want to give me more security. I'm the only one securing $150 million worth of maple syrup.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he's like, I've asked for help. They don't want help. So now me and my friends, we've been stealing one barrel at a time. Each night, one barrel at a time. Okay. We've been taking it and sending it off to somewhere else, and they get $2,500 per barrel.
Wow. Okay.
So, and there's no way to definitely count and see how many barrels, because they're stacked up kind of like how you would do a pyramid. So it's stacked up like that, and then there's another stack in front of it. So they're constantly stacked really high. So, and these are like big oil drums worth of maple syrup.
Interesting.
So now Remy goes to Mike and it's like, hey, you seem like a business dude. I would love for you to hear about this opportunity that I have going on. Blah, 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 blah. Basically tells him, look, we can go into this place that I work at.
Okay.
They only have security. Only security is me. And we can take all the maple syrup that we want.
Okay.
And the guy's like, let me think about it.
Okay.
So from there, Ruth's husband, his name is Martin. Martin's in a coma.
Okay.
And now Ruth has taken him out of the hospital and brought him home with the machinery and everything. She's like, this is where he needs to be. He doesn't need to be in the hospital. There's no point. I want to be here with him. So then that way she can go out and tend to the farm and come back in the house, and he's still there. She can make sure anything's going on with him. But her sister or her sister-in-law, it doesn't clarify if it's her sister or sister-in-law, but they're not close. They argue a lot. And she's like, you need to put him in the hospital because now you are leaving the house for hours at a time, and anything can happen to him because he doesn't have a nurse. And now, Ruth's like, but I'm trying to do this so when he wakes up, he's not going to be without anything. We're still going to have our farm up. We're still going to have all of this. Now, Leonard, being the head of the association, it's like she has the paperwork that says that her farm's going to be shut down. She goes up to him. He's like, oh, no, yeah, I know, but, times have changed. This is a new thing. She's like, you have just changed all the rules for your own benefit. Yeah. And he's like, look, it's not anything to do with me, but how about this? And since it's such a struggle, I'll buy your farm from you for $300,000. And she just snaps. She's like, you what? And she's like, F you, Leonard, blah, 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 blah. His son is like the assistant to the association. And she's just like, sit down, you secretary. And he's like, I'm not a secretary. No, stop. Don't. You keep saying I'm a secretary. I'm not. She's like, well, maybe you should do this like a secretary would. And then once he does that, it's going some more information. So this is a whole thing, but it's picking up how Mike got Remy introduced to Ruth, because Mike and Ruth know each other because of Martin.
Okay.
Martin, the husband, who's in the coma, knows Mike. They have done business together.
Yep. Okay.
But Mike is like, Martin told me to never get into my illegal business with his stuff, so I don't want to do that. Yeah. And then Ruth is like, but I need this money. I need you to help me because they're shutting down my farm. And he's like, I'm going off of what Martin said. I can't do it. Finally, he's like, all right, Ruth, look, boom, this is what's happening. So when Ruth and Remy are first meeting, she looks at him. She's like, absolutely not.
Really?
He just comes up and you could see they're just in a diner, sitting down in a diner, and he's in there with sunglasses and like sitting down and like sitting behind them, like, and then he'll say something, and then she just like, no, I'm not working with this idiot, basically. I'm not doing this. But it ends up that they end up doing it. And the way that they do it is so smart. It's always got to be the woman with the plan. Yeah. And the plan will work.
Yeah. 100%.
That's just the main thing that it is. So it is cute. I love it. It makes me want to watch it more and more.
Oh, it's going to be your new Mrs. Maisel?
No, it's not going to be my new Mrs. Maisel. Nothing can ever be my new Mrs. Maisel. But this is definitely going to be something I'm definitely going to watch again because I want to see if there's anything that I missed that I need to pick up on, like any clues. Because, I'll be watching movies and then my mind will wander. And then,
that's true.
Bring it back.
With anything. Yeah.
So I would definitely want to do that to see if there's anything that I missed. But all of this is it's funny. Like, it was moments that I was watching it and I just started busting out laughing because to me, I was just like, this is just a funny thing.
Yeah.
Because it's the way that she'll say something and then it's literally like, I can tell that she's the older white lady who gets pissed off at stuff and tells everybody about
Karen?
Themselves. Yeah, but then she just walks on off like,
she's upset. I'm done with y'all.
Yeah, I'm done with y'all. All of y'all are effing idiots. And then she just walks away and they're like, Ruth. Then she holds up her middle finger and keeps walking like that kind of.
Over it.
Yeah. So I love this. Please do check it out. It is called The Sticky. And you can watch this on Prime.
Okay.
All right. Now it says season 1. Let's see if we get another season. Let's see what's going to happen. I don't know if this is just a mini series. I don't know if this is just going to be a thing that keeps going. I don't know how long they're going to keep going with this heist. But also, I'm only on episode 4.
Right. So you don't know how far it's going to go with episode 6 and everything.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just going to be a mini series and boom, this is it, or if it's going to be, oh no, we have a season 2 because we have to talk about something.
We got to fill in some other holes. And stuff like
exactly.
That. Got it. Okay.
But yeah, I like it. It's cute. Please check it out.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my God, I missed one thing. Sorry.
You scared me.
I just missed one thing.
Yeah.
The actress that pops up in here.
It's just a random
There's an actress that pops up in here, and I was like, I love this show even more now.
Oh, because of who pops up.
If you look at the trailer or any of the pictures, you'll be able to see who it is. I don't want to say who it is. I didn't know that she was in it, and then when she popped, I said, "No, it's not." Would you look at this? Now I got 2 of my faves in the same show. Come on, let's do it.
Okay.
So that's also what made me love it more. But yeah, please check it out. The Sticky.
Well, maybe that'll help it to come back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, we should have next, sis.
Excellent. So I actually wanted to talk about a show called Before. And it's on Apple TV.
Okay.
And it has Billy Crystal.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched
So
that
I was
yet.
thinking everybody just the name Before, everybody's gonna be like, huh? But then you say, oh, Billy Crystal being dramatic. Oh yeah. I've seen that.
Is it like half of his face is peeled off on the trailer or something like that?
No. I've no idea. He's talking about he's a child psychiatrist.
No, I'm saying like if you're looking at
you mean like on the picture?
See,
you're talking about the picture of the trailer. I thought you.
I'm sorry,
never
the
seen
poster.
that picture.
Yeah, half of his face. He's pulling off half of his face.
That one I hadn't seen, so no. But thank you for sharing that with me.
You're like, but thank you.
Yeah, vivid picture in my head of the kid inside his face, even as he's pulling it.
Yeah, as he's pulling it down, pulling down the layers.
Okay, so I haven't finished this. I'm only on like episode 3 or 4, and I think it goes to like 9, something like that.
Okay.
But it's pretty good, so I said, hey, let me go ahead. It involves a cast, which includes Billy Crystal as Eli. It has Jacoby Jupe as Noah, who's a little kid on here. You have Judith Light as Lynn, who is Eli's wife. You have Rosie Perez. She's in here as Denise. And then the piece de resistance for me, Robert Townsend.
Oh, Robert Townsend! I didn't see him in a month of Sundays.
Robert
It's probably been a year of Sundays.
Townsend in a movie in maybe since like
It has
Five
to be the
Heartbeats.
90s. It has to be the 90s, the late 90s.
So he plays Billy Crystal's best friend Jackson. Okay. So that's pretty cool, right? So anyway, yes, I was so happy to see him in this. But long story short, so Billy Crystal's character Eli, as I mentioned, plays a child psychiatrist. So the show kind of goes down this path and this journey of Eli and him having these weird flashes and things that are happening in his home. And you're like, he's hearing things, you think he's seeing things. All of this is kind of like dark and mysterious inside his house and everything. It's like, I think of it like a New York City brownstone, something like that. So anyway, you find out very early on that his wife, Judith Light, character Lynn, I think she committed suicide in the house.
Oh, okay.
Because you have him always looking at a particular door. And, it's all about water. It's all about, I think she like just slit her wrists in the tub or something. So it's all, and again, I haven't finished it, so we'll see. But that's that's the imagery that I've gotten, is that's what has happened. However, he'll be doing something, and here's Judith Light talking to him. And he's a psychiatrist. So you're like, okay.
Right.
So yes. So he will be doing something, and then all of a sudden Judith is like, oh, so you didn't pay, you did da-da-da-da-dee. And he's like, da-da-da-da-dee. So he's just talking to her like she's there. And then all of a sudden he'll go to say something and she's gone. So, that's just an element of this show, right? So then you have one day he's home, and all of a sudden there's like this doorbell ring or knock at the door or something like that. And it's this little kid, which is Noah, at his door. And he's like, hey, little kid, what are you doing here? The little kid's just standing there, not saying anything. He's looking at the little kid. He's looking at his door. He's like, okay, what do you want? Like, where are your parents? Why are you here? Kid's not saying anything. He looks at the little kid's hands, and you could see like almost that his fingernails are like bloody.
Oh, like he was scratching.
Like he was scratching. But then you can see on the side of his house, the boy was scratching something on his house. And he was like, get in here. What is going on? So the little boy is in there, and he's just trying to figure out, who are you? Like, the little kid is not talking. So he's trying to figure this out. I think he calls a friend of his who's like in social services or something like that. And they come to find out that he is a foster kid in foster care with Rosie Perez's character.
Okay.
So then Billy Crystal takes the little boy over there, and they have a conversation and all of that. But Billy Crystal, being a child psychiatrist, is fascinated by the little boy, right? So he's just like, oh, it would be so cool, like almost to help this kid, figure it out, because she had said that he wasn't that way when he first got there, but he's been digressing, right? So then you see from the kid's perspective, he's just looking at things like really strange, like he's seeing things that other people can't see. And then at some point they give you the opportunity to see what he sees. And it's like, when you think of like Stranger Things and like that blobby stuff that just starts spreading, that's basically what this little kid sees. So he like looks into a corner, and if there's like a shadow or something like that, all of a sudden it starts growing. And then it has like little tentacles, like a octopus or something like that. And then if it starts to touch a person, he can't control himself, and he has to try to kill it.
The little boy,
right.
So the little boy is a murderer.
Well, I didn't say he had to kill the person. I said he has to try to kill the thing. So he's in school one day. And this blob starts over in the corner, and it starts coming toward this other little kid. Well, and they already told you like, oh, he's suspended or expelled or something. And you're like, why? Well, lo and behold, you see him seeing this blob coming at this kid, and he's going, a little off about it. And he just, as soon as it got to the kid, it started to like go around the kid's neck like it was getting ready to choke the kid. So in his mind, he's thinking he's saving the kid by picking up a pencil and stabbing the thing. But he stabs the kid in the neck. The kid's bleeding and screaming, and he drops it, blood's all over his hands, and they're like, yeah, no, he can't come here anymore. Like he's literally stabbing kids in the throat, and he's not even talking to tell us what happened, what he right? Saw. So right, exactly. So they keep doing all these tests and different things, trying to figure out what all is going on with him. And I don't know, it's an interesting level. So you have the Billy Crystal Eli character, right? So that's him with his dead wife talking to him and that side of things. You have Noah, who's not speaking. He's with Rosie Perez. And because he and Eli connected, now you have this strange connection between Eli and Noah, where Eli is like, I don't know how to put my finger on it, but me and this kid are somehow connected. And I don't know how he showed up at my house. I don't know what, but I'm feeling his energy. He's feeling mine. And some of the stuff that he's doing is starting to rub off on me a little bit. But also he picked up like the kid, when the kid finally did say something, it was like speaking in tongues. Oh, wow. And he picked up that it was some old
language,
like Hebrew, something of another. And it's like, how in the world would this young kid even
How in the
this
world does he
language.
even know that language?
Right.
No, I mean, like, how does Billy Crystal's character
No, because he
know
recorded
that?
them. He recorded them while he
and
was
then
seeing
did,
it, and then he had a
research.
friend because he's a psychologist or whatever. So he had a friend that he could send it to and said, "Hey, I know you're a language expert or whatever. Can you tell me what language this is?" And the friend, it took him a minute to like look into it and figure it out. And then he was finally like, I can't remember if it was Hebrew or not, but it was like unorthodox Hebrew or something, something weird. And he was like, "Oh my gosh." And then what was it that the kid said, which I won't give away, but what the kid said too was like, wow, I mean,
Like, how does
it's
a
relevant
child
to
know
something,
this? Yeah.
right? It's relevant to something, but why is this kid saying this in this language? And then, so that's a whole, situation there too. But long story short, it's hard to describe. Like I said, I've only seen 3 episodes of it, so I won't talk about it too long, but it was really good because it's got a darkness to it.
Okay.
And it's got this whole like mystical element to it that you're just trying to figure out, like, why is this little boy seeing this? Why is it that he and Billy Crystal seem to be so connected? Is Rosie Perez really a good person? Is she not a good person? Like, I can't figure that part out. I mean, she's seeming very genuine in regards to caring for this little boy, who's in her care as a foster child. And then why does Judith Light keep popping up? I mean, I love a Judith Light. Don't get me wrong. It's great to see her when she shows up places, but it's like, why is it? And he sees his own therapist too. So he will talk to his therapist about the fact that he sees his wife as, for his own, need for therapy, basically. And then the therapist is also like challenging him, like, hey, have you stopped doing this? Are you not doing that anymore? All those types of things, because, therapists need therapists. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that's a lot to take in, and then you have no outlet for it, and you're just hearing about people being
problems
depressed and stuff like that
all day long.
That sounds so draining.
Yep. It does. It does. Yeah. So anyway, but that's the premise, I guess, of what you would say the TV show before is really about. And so, he's just this little boy who's got some kind of weird things going on, and you're trying to figure out how are he and Billy Crystal connected to each other. And will anybody ever really understand what this little boy is seeing as to why he acts out the way he does? Because he did the same thing to Billy Crystal once. Like, and it was like, but he saw this thing coming up to him, and it's almost like, I care about you, I need to protect you, but in the process of him trying to protect you, you think he's trying to kill you. So then, and he's not talking, so therefore you're like, he's a killer.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, he's trying to be your protector, but you just don't know that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
So
because once you said like he's trying to kill the thing that's growing towards the humans, I was like, oh, well then if it gets attached to them, that means that he's going to be killing people because it's now taking the human body as a host.
Yeah, and it's not even that it's trying to go inside the body.
Oh, it's just
more
trying
like
to
it's
harm.
trying to
harm the
like
human.
at least everything that I've seen is like it's trying to like encapsulate the person.
Okay.
But anyway. So that's it. So that's before. I have no idea where this is going. And from the picture that you just showed me now, I'm really even more confused.
Because now I'm like, is the little boy him?
Layers of his face are coming off with the little boy on the inside of that. And then I'm like, is he going to find out that this is his grandson? Or is he going to find out that this is like, that they have some kind of connection because of something else?
Yeah, because of his ex-wife or something like that.
Maybe,
right. His past wife.
His wife who passed away is he's a widow. So a widower.
Widower, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, it's an interesting little drama.
I'm gonna watch
so
it. I'm
and for him
definitely
being serious, because you don't really see Billy Crystal serious. So yep. Alrighty. Well, that's what I had. Oh, and that's on Prime TV, by the way, and Apple TV. So I guess
Apple
it's
TV for
Apple
free.
TV for free,
Prime,
and then Prime
you'd
you'd have to rent to get to it. But Apple TV for free. Yeah. All right. So.
All right, so which one should I do? Should I do the one that we were going to do together, or should I do a different one? Okay. All right, so I'll talk about the one that we were going to talk about together, and that one is called The Madness. It is on Netflix, and it is great.
Have you finished it?
I watched it twice.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, I haven't even finished
I watched it the
yet.
day that it came out.
Okay.
Well, I started watching it the day that it came out, and
well, don't spoil anything for me because I haven't finished watching it.
Okay.
But I'm like, I'm.
I don't have any spoilers from what I have written down.
Okay, I was going to say I'm at least at episode 4.
Okay, yeah. I don't have any spoilers. So the total
is it?
8 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, the total is 8 episodes. And it is just like I said, it's on Netflix. So excuse me, let me talk about the cast.
Yeah.
So the cast, you have Coleman Domingo, who plays Muncie Daniels, who is a journalist.
Yep, CNN journalist.
Yeah. You have Marcia Stephanie Blake, who plays his wife, and her name is Alina. You have John Ortiz, who plays Franco Quinones, who is a FBI agent.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see who else is good. You have Thaddeus Mixon, who plays Demetrius, who is the son of Muncie and Alina.
Okay, yep.
You have you have Gabriel Graham, who plays Callie, and she is the daughter of Muncie Daniels. From a previous marriage, not the same marriage with his son. And then you have his best friend, who is played by Dion Cole, who is Kwesi Dupree. Okay. Now, there are some other people in here that you really don't really need to know, but they are people that are in it. But it's not anything that you really need to know about. You do have Tamsin Topolsky, who plays Lucy Simmons, who is she is a detective. I guess, yeah, she's a detective. She plays a pregnant detective that works for the area where everything's going on.
Yeah.
So, getting into this. So here's what I got from it. And
okay.
Tell me what you got.
You go ahead.
All right. So it starts off with Muncie Daniels, him being on CNN, having a conversation with this lady, and they're just going back and forth talking about some stuff. So there is clips of like some stuff that happened. Muncie ends up being like, "Look, I need to go. I want to write this book. I'm going to write this book." So while he's out in the Poconos, just so he can be away from everybody, all distractions, so he can just be by himself, be able to write this book. Well, the guy who's in the cabin next to him, he ends up being like, "Hey, I've seen your face before." And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Are you on TV or something?" He was like, "Yeah, something."
Yeah.
And from there, then he's like, "All right, well, look, if you need anything, I'm just the next cabin over, if you just come on over." So later on, Muncie, it's like, "Oh, I need some propane." Like,
yeah, my lights or something.
Yeah, it was like, someone out.
Yeah.
So he goes over to his neighbor's house. We goes to the neighbor's house, knocks on the door, and he's like, "Oh, okay, so you're not answering the door. You said if I need anything, hello, anybody here?"
Right.
Looks over at the sauna door is open. Sees what happens in the sauna, turns around to run away, and now there are men chasing him.
Because people saw him.
People saw him
in the sauna.
Exactly. As they are chasing him, well, I'll just go ahead and say it was a murder.
Yeah.
As they are chasing him, he is running through the woods for his life. He gets into like a little pond creek type thing. I don't even know. It's some kind of swampy marsh area, which I didn't even know was in the Poconos. But yeah, so he's there and he's hiding. And then, there's a whole attack issue thing that happens. So now he's up and he's running for his life. And then finally he gets to the point where he gets tired and he stops and then he falls asleep. Wakes up the next day, freezing cold, trying to go ahead and get somewhere where he can get some assistance. Gets out to the main road.
Yeah, because you're disoriented and lost and have no idea
exactly.
where you are.
And you have no idea where you are because you ran away from the cabin area where you were staying at. And you ran the opposite way. So you're just trying to figure out, well, I don't know where I'm at. I'm turned around, so let's see where this goes. Yeah. Gets to the road, follows the road to a restaurant, goes to call the police, looks, the police are sitting right there. As he comes up to them, they're looking at him up and down like, "Can we help you?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's been a bad morning." Tells them what happens.
Yep.
They go.
They ride, drop them back.
Look at the crime scene. Everything is gone. There's nothing in the crime scene.
Yep.
And they're like, "How do we know you didn't do this?" So in my mind, I'm like, why isn't he showing that they are shooting at me? If you look in the trees, they were probably pieces and chunks of the wood taken off where people were shooting at me.
I didn't even think about that myself.
Like, bro, they shot at me right here by the sauna. Yeah. So there should be a hole in the tree right up here.
If they hit the tree, it could have just kept on going.
You see them.
Oh,
hit
you
the
do?
tree.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's why I was looking at it and I was like, why is the tree smoking when they shoot the tree? And I was like, oh, it's a movie. That's right. That's how you got to make it seem like, they hit the tree. So now it is the police trying to figure out what exactly is going on with this whole situation, they're saying to him, you know, hey, we're going to keep an eye on you, you know, until we find out some more information, you know, keep in contact. And he was like, I don't have my phone, so how can I keep in contact with you? They're like, well, we'll find a way to get in touch with you. And he's just like, okay, whatever. Now, the more that this show goes on, the more that you get some more details. So, basically, how he told the police the story of what happened, things start to get turned around and mixed up, and now he is the main suspect. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, oh, but you're saying all this happened, but now we've seen this, and this shows that you did this, and this shows this, and this shows this.
Right.
So one of the things was his neighbor, his cabin neighbor, was actually a white supremacist.
Yep.
Now, with Muncie being
and this is all like first episode.
Yeah, this is all, With Muncie being a journalist, what was he going to do? He's going to look into different things like that. So with him looking into the, it doesn't say the name of the white supremacist, but he's just looking into the name of like his tag
brother
name,
or whatever.
Yeah, brother 14. Yeah.
Brother 14.
So he's looking into that and find like, you know, this is a white supremacy thing. I'm getting all this information about it, but that ends up turning around to bite him on the butt because that is the man who died near him. So now you've done some research about this man who just died in his cabin near you. And you're trying to say that you've never seen him before? Never met him before, but you
did the research after you found out. I mean,
no, it was research before you found out that he had passed away.
Yeah, I didn't put that together.
Yeah, so he was doing the research before.
Okay,
and because that's what he was like.
Because he's a journalist, so he was looking into stuff. He didn't know that guy was the guy who was Brother 14 because nobody had known what Brother 14 looked like.
Nobody knew his face. Yeah,
that's right. That's coming back to me.
Yeah. So this is basically Muncie trying to figure out how he can clear his name.
Yeah, and prove he's not the guilty one.
But then also more and more and more things tend to happen. So now it's things with his family. Now it's things with his friends. Now it's things with his daughter who he's like kind of estranged with. Now this like this has pulled them closer together, but that also puts her in more danger. Yeah. And then one of their good friends, somebody who has helped him through his whole life, like helps them out, but then also puts him in more danger. So it's
anybody who touches
anybody who's around him is in danger.
And even
his
to the
son,
point that
his wife, everybody.
If he goes to like hide out at somebody's house, this white supremacist show up there. Yeah. Like they know every move.
White supremacist or the police.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you want to consider it one and the same with this show, but I don't think it's one and the same. It's kind of similar.
No, I mean, I think that it depends on how it all plays out that I haven't seen yet.
Seen it. Yeah.
So, you know, it's just like, but every single thing, like he tries to go to attorneys, and they're like, they turn him away.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well then, but it's like everywhere you're trying to go, where there are white males, it seems like they're all turning you away, and you start to figure out, like, am I being paranoid that everybody's a part of this group? Or is it that everybody is really a part of this group? Like, that's the part. And I think that for me personally, from what I've seen so far, it's like one of those things where you'll have people who are not marginalized always saying, you always make everything a race issue, you know, because that's how they'll see things, right? And then but then this show is saying, well, it gives you both sides of it.
Yeah.
It's like, are you really making everything a race issue, or is it that everything really is a race issue? And so that's the part that I, was finding as like an underlying message in this particular show as I've been watching it. It's like, yeah, that can help a person who has said that to maybe second guess it and say, well, maybe in this instance it is all, one and the same. And so but I've really been enjoying it. The part that is funny to me, and then once I was noticing it.
Okay.
And then I happened to look at something on Facebook where it was like somebody literally put this on there, and I said, oh my God, I thought I was the only one that noticed it. And there were 200 comments that Coleman Domingo's mouth is open all the time.
Oh, yeah.
In this show.
Yeah.
I do not remember that from him being in Rustin.
Yes, his mouth was always open in Rustin.
Was it always open in Rustin too?
I think that's just him.
And I didn't remember it in Fear the Walking Dead, he, was like on the screen probably less than being the main person. So I didn't pay attention. But his mouth is open all the time. And it gets distracting.
Because
as you
that's
pay
his
attention
thinking
to it.
thing, like,
No, but I mean, it can be, he's talking to his wife, his mouth is open. He's talking to his son, his mouth is open. He's talking to the police, his mouth is open. He's just sitting in a room by himself, his mouth is open. He's being tortured, his mouth is open. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, anything that's happening, his mouth is open. And I'm just like, does your mouth just automatically, like, just hang open?
Some people's do.
I don't know, but now.
No, but serious. Some people, like for real life, I think his mouth just hangs open.
Yeah, he probably does have one because he has a mouthful of teeth for sure. Yeah. I mean, and not everybody has a mouthful of teeth potentially, but like it just like full. It just always, some people they just look like. Even like how I think of when I think of Kerry Washington and how like she has to like literally probably close her mouth
she has to close
because
her
of
mouth,
the fact of just how her mouth is shaped, right? And so I think of that for him, and I'm probably like, okay, well then I guess that's him. He just has to physically like
close his mouth.
Can I close my mouth? Like I have to think to close my mouth because it'll just be hanging there, and you're just like. Dude, are you breathing out of your mouth because you can't breathe out of your nose? Yeah, and now I found that I'm getting so distracted by that every time I get ready to go and play it again, I'm just like, all I'm going to do is sit here and watch his mouth open.
See, I never even paid attention to his mouth being open. I just figured that he was that's just him.
It is just him. So I
didn't pay attention to that.
I did pay attention to it, but I think after I had paid attention to it subconsciously, not even consciously, subconsciously. Then I'm scrolling through Facebook, and the first thing I read was like, "Oh, his mouth. Why is his mouth open all the time?" And I said, "Wait, I did recognize that his mouth was open all the time." And I said, "Why are there 200 comments about this?" So then when I looked,
it bothered
everybody people. Was like, "Oh my god, I had to cut it off after the first episode because I couldn't watch his mouth."
I wasn't even paying attention to his mouth. I was watching the show. I was trying to figure out what was happening. I was getting confused from the first episode.
Right. So now I'm like, okay, I got to get back in there, but then I'm just going to be saying his mouth hang open. Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, it's just.
But yeah, if you go back and look at Rustin, his mouth is open a lot. That's how you can tell is that one missing tooth in Rustin.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, that's true. But he had to in a way for you to know that was there. I felt like that was more of the storytelling.
Maybe.
Where here it's not, but. I mean,
you could have seen that just from a smile, because
Yeah, that's true.
But I think that's just
it's just him. It's his way.
Yeah. This is Coleman Domingo. I was trying to figure out if he went to Atlanta and got toupee.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to the hair.
Yeah, I was paying attention to the hair a little bit because some of it was sticking up different than the other parts. The top was sticking up different than the sides, and it wasn't the haircut. And then later on, if you watch it, it's supposed to be a 3-day span, but his hair looks totally different from the first day when he was in the Poconos. Okay. So that's what I was like. I wonder how they did that. Like,
that's interesting because that's what they talked about with Jamie Foxx too, toupee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the special, they think he had on a toupee. But anyway, so all right. Well, I do think it's good. I am gonna. You know what? I'm gonna finish it this week.
The end is very heartfelt and warming, but you get pissed off fast. Okay. Before the end.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Emotional roller coaster. Got it.
Yeah, you like see now I'm gonna have to. Yeah. And honestly, everybody who's around him, who is not Frank Quinones, who is trying to do an investigation or anything about the whatchamacallit. Not people helping him, but anybody else who says that they're helping him, but they're not. They're just kind of getting information, or they don't know if they need to trust him or not. They all die.
Oh, okay.
That's what it seems like. All of them died. They probably don't all die, but that's what it seems like. It's a lot of death in this.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a lot of death, or it's a lot of death, a lot of murders, and some murders tie into another murder that ties to another murder, and then where did this person go? And so, but it's good how the movie is put together. I do. I mean, the TV show is put together. I like it. I watched it all in, I think, a day and a half. Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to finish it. I am going to finish it, and I will just watch the top of the screen up and not pay attention to his mouth.
Look at his eyes and not his mouth. Or maybe watch his forehead. I don't know.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So, what do you have next, sis?
I have a show called The Present on Hulu.
Never heard of it.
So it is
Hulu.
and Hulu. You know, it's funny because I don't even know if anybody would know the cast. Let's see, hold on, because I didn't even look it up because I was going to go straight into it, but then I was like, maybe I need to talk to people about the cast. And it is a cute little story about a family and everybody trying to keep everybody together. So what's his name? His name is
Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear, that's his name. Yep. And Amy, whatever her name is. Oh my gosh, hold on. Greg Kinnear, Alyssa Fisher, Ryan Gooseman are the main characters in this particular one. So Greg Kinnear, yeah, and people know him. So there you go. So that is the cast. So it is him and his wife that are, let's see here. Hold on one second.
Oh yeah, Ryan Gooseman is the guy from 911.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So what it is that basically, long story short, so you have the father, the wife, and 3 kids. So you have a daughter and 2 sons. So what ends up happening is that the family is showing that the kids, you know, they're basically, it starts off with the kids being told by the parents that they're separating.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden you hear everything and it's all going backwards. It's like,
Okay.
So at first you're thinking, oh, this is like how they're telling us, oh, the parents going to end up separating at the end of the movie. But then this is, you know, them going to tell the backstory of that. No, that's not it. What had happened was, now look, maybe that's going to be the name of this episode. But anyway, so what it is that it jumps to earlier in the morning where the parents are strategizing how they're going to tell the kids later that night that they are going to be getting a divorce. Then there's this ring at the door. And this huge grandfather clock comes in and it's delivered because it's from some family member that had passed away. Okay. And so this was part of the estate or whatever. And they're like bringing this old grandfather clock. And so it's a fairly heirloom. They put it in the basement. They don't even know if the thing works, you know, and they're just like, all right, whatever. So the mother and son tried to figure out why it was broken. The son does not speak.
Okay.
One of the sons. So you have the oldest
daughter. There's a lot of
daughter.
kids in your shows that don't speak.
I know, right? The oldest daughter, the middle son, and then the youngest son. The youngest son doesn't speak. He walks around with like an iPad that he types messages on. Okay. And his voice is Obama. So
I loved it.
So every time he talks, it's just like, well, so what I'm saying, Mom, is I want to get some candy, you know, like that kind of thing. So it is kind of funny.
Can I make my Siri sound like President Obama?
That's a good question.
That would be awesome. D, it is 12:43.
So anyway, somehow, you know, what ends up happening is the little kid does figure out how to work the clock, right? So what he does is he realizes when he did something on the clock, if you touch the clock after it's been fixed and you move the dial back, it changes back time.
Oh, so the clock has magical powers.
Right. So he touched the clock and it did something. And then when he saw that, wait, this is repeating again? Like, what's going on? So he, you know, he figures out like, oh, the clock is really like changing around time and everything, right? So then all of a sudden you start seeing these weird scenarios happening, right? So you have, for example, the mom being on a date with probably that guy you said from 911. I can't remember what his name was on the show. But anyway, so she's like on this date because again, they're getting separated. So they don't care, you know, they already know this is over. So she's like, yeah, I'll just date somebody else, you know? So, and she's not really dating. Let me not say that. It's a guy from the gym, and they go to get lunch, I think is what it was. So anyway.
So she's just hanging out.
Yeah, she's hanging out. But all of a sudden, the guy from the gym gets a serious allergic reaction to something that he cannot eat, right? And so then it's like you need the EpiPen and all this. This little boy with no voice done took the EpiPen, done did. He was like, nah, you ain't gonna get with my mama. No. This ain't gonna happen. Well, come to find out, this little boy had followed his mom so many times because he's rewound the clock. He knew exactly what was gonna happen, where his mom was gonna be, the time she was gonna be there. These
little silent kids are killers.
Yeah. So he was just like, oh, the guy was like, oh, I can't have any nuts in it. So what does he do? He takes ground peanut powder, puts it on top of whatever the guy's going to eat, makes sure that the guy has a reaction so that the mom and him can't get too close, this whole 9 yards. That's one extreme.
Mm-hmm.
The next extreme was he done jumped out in front of a car because he knows a car is going to be coming to make the car hit the guy's car so that the mom and the boy are out there, the boyfriend are out there talking. He's upset because his 52 Chevy or whatever just got hit. Like, because he had that old Mustang. That's what it was, that old fancy Mustang or something. So the guy was like, the kids ran in front of me. And the whole time we're watching it, not realizing the little boy is doing all of this.
Oh.
So we're watching it like, what little boy? We didn't see the little boy.
Yeah.
And like, how did he get the allergic reaction? I don't know how that happened. Like all these different scenarios are happening. And then lo and behold, you start to put together and you see that the little boy is making all of this happen. So his sister somehow stumbles upon him down there changing around stuff. And he was like, look, Mom and Dad are going to say they want to get a divorce tonight. So I've been trying.
This is him talking in President Obama's voice.
I mean, basically, like, I've been trying to get Mom and Dad separate. I mean, back together. Unsuccessfully. I've played this out. And she was like, how many times have you redone me? Like, has all of this stuff been redone?
But they're close in age, right? They're really far in age. As far
she's probably 17.
She's a teenager? Okay.
16, 17. And
how old
he's probably
is he?
like
9, 10?
10, probably something, 11, maybe 11. I'll give him 11.
Okay.
So anyway, they don't tell the other brother. Like initially, because they're just like, he's such a klutz and he'll give it away. He'll tell them and then that'll mess up everything. It could break the spell, all of that. So then you have the two
the
of
oldest
them
and the youngest team up again, like to not do anything with the middle brother.
How to keep the parents connected, right?
Sounds like us.
yeah. And so then you have the father. He's looking for a bachelor pad. Well, the kids aren't supposed to know of a bachelor pad. So the kids try to rush to the bachelor pad before he can get there. And the real estate agent can show it to him.
To mess it up
and put graffiti on the wall and the whole 9 yards. Like those kind of things are the devious things that they're trying to do. So then the dad looks and he's like, And then they'll try to do things to try to bring them together. And, what was that? What was it again? That place that y'all met at? And then try to have their favorite food from that particular place show up at the house, and then the mom thinks the dad did it, and the dad thinks the mom did it.
Yeah. Okay.
All of these things. So it's a cute little movie. I will say that it's interesting because it all is around this little clock that's in their basement, and the kids also have to work really hard to make sure mom and dad don't touch the clock.
Yeah.
Because once you touch the clock, you get the power. And that's how it happened with the older sister. He was trying to do something on the clock, and she was like, oh, I can help. And then bam, she did something. And then he was just like, okay, well, let me show you. And then he did the thing, and then she stayed with him while everything else changed back.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So then it was like, okay. So they finally did bring in the other brother. And he did exactly what they
said. Yeah, he's a klutz.
Well, and it's more like he can't keep his mouth shut. Okay. He's just all unorganized. He's just a mess. So let's just not even bring him in. And then when he finally did come in, So anyway, so it's cute. I would say that if it's somebody who's looking for, even though it's not, I don't think officially considered a holiday movie. They do have a couple of fake snow scenes and things like that. It's just a little cute, feel good kind of thing. So, but it's called The Present. Again, it's on Hulu. And, I thought it was really cute.
It sounds cute. I want to watch that too.
Yeah. So it just shows
it's a movie, right?
Yeah, it's a movie. So that's the good part too. It can be something quick to watch. And it just shows you how kids can come together and be resourceful when they really, want their parents to stay together. And isn't even meant to be for their parents to stay together.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Maybe it's best for them.
Yeah. Maybe this is just the natural order of things need to go.
100%. So, all right. But that is it. So, everyone, thank you for listening at Sestra-Tainment. Hopefully you have an amazing upcoming week. Take care. Bye.